What's up, Saints fans? Harrison Graham here from Chat Sports, here to preview the Week 1 matchup between the Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. The injury report just dropped here for Wednesday. We'll get you caught up on that a little bit later as well. Let's get into it here on today's show. Football is back. Here is your matchup for Week 1 as the Saints hit the road to take on the Falcons in Atlanta. New Orleans coming off that 9-8 year, just missing out on the playoffs. Obviously, Sean Payton steps away. Dennis Allen takes over. We'll see how that goes this year. Atlanta coming off a 7-10 year, but many believe it could be worse this year as they're entering a bit of a rebuild. Matt Ryan gets traded. They're going with Marcus Mariota and maybe eventually Desmond Ridder this year. Saints 6-point favorites, over-under set at 42.5. Kickoff going to be 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central Time this Sunday, September 11th, down in Atlanta. Before we break down this matchup, take a look at some players to watch. Sound off in the comments. Type who dat if you think the Saints are going to beat the Falcons. If you don't, well, I guess you're a Falcons fan, because if you don't think the Saints are going to win this one, I don't know what you're thinking, because, come on, Who Dat Nation's going to show up, show out. Type Who Dat down below if you think the Saints start 1-0. You look at the preseason for each of these squads. The Saints went 1-2, lost a game to the Texans and the Packers. Finished strong with a nice 27-10 win over the Chargers. Got to see Jameis Winston play in that one, which was a positive sign for Atlanta. They went 2-1, wins over the Jags and the Lions. Lost that game in the middle to the New York Jets, but it's preseason, doesn't really hold that much weight for the regular season. Now, if you're a betting man, and maybe you are, BetUS place to go. 4 games all season long. Saints 6-point favorites, over-under set at 42.5. Chatsports.com/betfalcons. Promo code Falcons125 if you want to go bet on this one. Get those score predictions in as well, Who Dat Nation. What do you think? What do you think the final score is going to be this Sunday? Producer Trace has his prediction at the end of the video that we'll share. He's actually not producing today, but he's got a prediction for you guys, so stick with us here. We'll get you his score prediction later on. Let's talk about the quarterback, Jameis Winston, whose season was cut short last year in 7 games played, 59% completion, just over 1,100 yards. The TD interception ratio, I think, is what has Saints fans excited. 14 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions. His last full year as a starter before that with the Bucs back in 2019, the infamous 30 for 30 season, 33 touchdowns, 30 picks. QB rating over 102. He played pretty darn well when he was out there taking care of the football. Hope to see more of the same if he can stay healthy this year. Now, Marcus Mariota on the other side has spent the last couple of years with the Raiders. Started 1 game back in 2020, 17-28, 226 with the touchdown and a pick. QB rating of 97.4. Also ran the ball well in that game. We know he's a threat as a runner. So, typically in the NFL, the team that gets better quarterback play is going to win the game. Obviously, these are former top 2 picks in the same draft. Jameis Winston trying to, salvage his career in New Orleans. Marcus Mariota trying to do the same in Atlanta. More to break down for this matchup, but make sure you guys hit that subscribe button here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. The closer we get to 10,000 subs, the more videos we're going to be able to do for you guys, whether it's me, Will Scott, producer Trace. We'll continue to bring you the latest Saints news and rumors here on Saints Now. So hit that sub button, game previews, post-game shows. It's going to be coming at you all season long. You're not going to want to go anywhere here on this channel. It's youtube.com/Saints Today. That's youtube.com/Saints Today. Appreciate you guys for tuning into today's show. By the way, Michael Thomas did return to practice. He was a limited participant for New Orleans. We'll talk about the full injury report later on. And plus, he says his goal is to play on Sunday. Players to watch in this matchup beyond Michael Thomas, if Thomas is able to go. Alvin Kamara, we were waiting to see if he would get suspended. That has not happened up to this point. Looked good in limited preseason action. I expect him to be involved heavily in the Saints offense. Mark Ingram, is he going to be that reliable number 2 back? The Thunder and Lightning there in New Orleans. Last year, mixed results for him, I would say, but obviously New Orleans, especially in short yardage situations, would like to lean on him as well. Paulson Adebo, who is projected to start opposite of Marshawn Lattimore in the secondary. Obviously, the secondary looking a little bit different this year in New Orleans, especially after the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade. So we'll see how that plays out as well. Adebo coming in with some hype. Caden Ellis starting over Zach Bond, coming off the edge there, so excited to see him play as well. Producer Trace really intrigued to see if he can be that reliable pass rusher in this defense. Now, which player are you most excited to watch this Sunday here in Week 1 for the Saints? Let us know down in the comment section below. Which Saints player are you most excited to watch for this week? All right, BetUS. Let me tell you a little bit more about them. If you want to go bet on this matchup, BetUS is the place to go. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is chat125. You put down $100, you're going to get $125 for free. We showed you the betting odds earlier. Saints 6-point favorites. It's on the road. It's always tricky, but I do think they cover here. I do like a Saints cover down in Atlanta. If you want to get that deposit bonus, got to use our link below, chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is chat125. All right, let's look at the injury report now. These 5 players did not practice for New Orleans. Traquan Smith dealing with a groin injury. Dwayne Washington, a hamstring. Quarterback Paulson Adebo, who we just talked about, so we'll see if he's able to rally and go this week. He's got an ankle injury. Landon Young dealing with a hip injury, and then Tanner Owen was out with a personal issue, and obviously Trevor Penning currently on IR. Limited participants, Michael Thomas, he's hoping to play Sunday. Eric McCoy, limited with a calf injury. Pete Warner's got a groin injury, and then JT Gray dealing with a hamstring. Michael Thomas talked a lot after practice today. He says playing Sunday is the goal. He also said, because he was asked if he believes he can get back to 2019 form, he said he's shooting for higher than that. So we'll see, Saints fans. It's been a couple of years. Talk is cheap at this point for Michael Thomas. We'll see if he can perform on the field should he get healthy. Falcons injury report, much smaller. Parker Hesse, the tight end, out with a personal issue there. Not sure what's going on, but he did not practice. Drake London limited with a knee injury. Darren Hall, the cornerback, limited with a quad injury. We'll see if those 2 players are able to suit up this week. Certainly a few more practices to go between now and Sunday. All right, there you go. Injury report, players to watch. Who you got on Sunday between the Saints and the Falcons? Type NO for the New Orleans Saints. Type ATL for the Atlanta Falcons. Get your votes in down in the comments section. All right, Jarvis Landry. We get to see some debuts for a couple new players in New Orleans. You got Jarvis Landry, of course, who played his college ball at LSU. You got Tyrann Mathieu, who returns to the boot as a member of the New Orleans Saints. Excited to see both of these 2 players suit up. Should be a lot of fun to see them bring the juice in New Orleans. Obviously, this game's not being played in the Superdome, but that home opener, that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Like the video if you're excited for these 2 guys to be members of the Saints and to play for this football team. I know I'm fired up to see it happen. Big offseason for the Saints picking up these 2 players. All right, Trace's predictions coming up, but what is your score prediction between the Falcons and the Saints? Let us know down in the comments. Producer Trace, drum roll. 31-17. He thinks 2-touchdown victory for the Saints down in Atlanta. If you agree with him, hey, go put your money where your mouth is with BetUS. 31-17 from producer Trace. I'll go a little more mild. I'll go 28-20. I think they cover, but I think it's a little closer. Road games in the NFL are tough, especially in the division. 28-20 for me. Producer Trace says 31-17, but either way, Saints get it done.